Hello and welcome to Tricolour. Firstly, congratulations on purchasing or being bought or finding maybe your copy of this trick. My name's Simon Lipkin. I'm very touched and honoured that you took the time to purchase this, and I hope that you love it as much as I love creating it. So let's start with, who is this man sitting on the other side of this table? Maybe he's a mentalist. He's not wearing black, but he does have tattoos. Is he wearing eyeliner? We just don't know. My name's Simon. I have spent my life acting, actually, on stage and in television shows and on films and doing musicals and all sorts of things. But magic has always been something that I have loved from the very bottom of my heart. And in the last sort of 3-4 years, I have fallen in love with creating magic. It's not something I ever knew was in the path of what I was going to do, but it's something that I started to play around with and I fell in love with. And I found that when I was gigging and when I was out performing magic, I wanted things that didn't exist, that weren't there for me to use. As a mentalist, I'm not a very serious mentalist. I'm not a very sort of hard-hitting, please look into the depths of your soul kind of mentalist. I like more fun things, but I also like things that I know are going to work. As an actor, I want to focus on my performance. I want to focus on the experience that the spectator has. So therefore, I wanted to create magic that would have all of the hard work done, be so simple, so easy to do, and allow you to focus on exactly what you should be doing, which is that person sitting opposite you and the performance and the experience you're going to create for them. So hopefully, with 3 pens, we can create some miracles. These things, I love electronics. I think they are brilliant and hold a place. But actually, when I'm out gigging, it's not something I want to think about. So these will never let you down. The only thing that you will ever have to do is, if a pen runs out of ink, you just grab another one and you are good to go. There is nothing to go wrong here. So over the next little bit of time, we are going to explore what these can do. So sit back, relax, grab a drink and enjoy Tricolour. So let's have a look at what you get inside your box. You are going to see that you have 3 Sharpies, and you're going to have 3 envelopes. And I'm guessing you would have looked at these by now, but you'll see that these are double-sided envelopes. Yours might look a little bit different to this, but they will function in exactly the same way. So let's start with the envelopes. Just in case you've never seen one of these before, this is a double-sided envelope. It means that if you open this flap, on one side, you have a compartment to put something in. And then if you turn it over and open this flap, on the other side, there is a separate compartment that you can put a different thing in. But when it comes out in the handling, no one will ever see that there are 2 sides to it. It will always just look like you're opening the same side, regardless of which side you open it on, which allows us to have outs, which is going to be very useful for some of the tricks that we're going to look at on Tricolour. So you get 3 of those, and we will come back to those later. But let's look at the main event. So here are your pens. I'm sure you've had a good look at them already, and maybe some of you have found what you're looking for, and maybe some of you haven't. So these pens are obviously marked, and they are marked in a very sneaky way. I've shown these to a lot of magicians after showing them the trick, and even though they know they're looking for a marking, they don't find it, because everyone goes looking on the barrel. They all go looking, and I think that is a very fine method to mark a barrel if you wanted to. I think it's confusing, I think it's easy to get lost, and I think it's the first place that the spectator will look is here. So this part of the pen is absolutely meaningless to us. It's great, you need them, but that's not what's important here. The cap is what we're looking at. So if I can show you this, you can see that between the arm and the actual main lid of the Sharpie, there is one little notch. If I pull the arm away, you can see that little notch in there. That is what a normal Sharpie looks like. And all of them will look exactly like that. Now, if we look at this one, start here. Now you'll see in there, you'll be able to see that there are 2 notches on that Sharpie lid. And you can see that from a real distance. Actually, the further away that you hold the Sharpie, the easier it is to see the marking. So you're going to stare through the arm and the barrel, and you'll see that there are 2 notches on that Sharpie lid. And then lastly, I'm going to show you here that there are 3 notches on that Sharpie lid. So you can see that we're clearly numbered 1, 2, and 3. And therein lies every trick and every miracle that we can perform with Tricolour. So just to show you again, that's Sharpie number 1. That's Sharpie number 2. And that's Sharpie number 3. And you can see how clearly you can see those markings. So it doesn't matter what colours are underneath these pens. We've supplied you with 3 colours just so that you are good to go out of the box. But you can grab any colours that you like, as long as you can remember that 1 is colour number 1, 2 is colour 2, 3 is colour 3, then you can do whatever you like with these. So let's look at the colours. These are the ones that I tend to use just because I find them very easy to remember. 1 is red. I remember it just because I don't know why. Red feels like short. It's the same amount of letters as 1, so I just remember that red is 1. For Sharpie number 2, I always use blue because it rhymes, 2 blue. So that is what I put under Sharpie number 2. And then for 3, I always use green. I remember that 3 has 2 E's and green has 2 E's, 3 green. So that's how I remember that. So now that means that no matter how you mix these up, anyone can put these in any order that they like. If you, I don't know what we're going to grab, but if you grab and stare just by looking through the barrel, I know that now we've got a red pen in our hands. You can also, we'll look at this a little bit more later, but you can get a feel of them if you just push to one side. If you push the arm to one side, almost like sort of a braille-y kind of effect, like a raised bump, you can feel how many notches there are. So in taking something back, you can run your thumb down and know how many notches are on the pen. We will get into all of that later. But every trick that we're going to look at, every routine that we're going to look at is based around the fact that you can get a clear visual marking, 3 at once. You can hold these so clearly. If I was to turn them like this so that you can see, and I'll just make sure the camera can see, you can see all 3 at once. Can you see that through the lens? You can see all 3 at once, and you can see so clearly the order of those pens. So we know that we're looking at the order 2, 3, 1. So these can be mixed, handed back to you. You can hold or offer an option. You're always going to know exactly what colour the spectator has. So now that you know the secret, let's get into some of the things you can do with Tricolour. Dee, I want to show you something with colour. So from when we are little baby bubbers, colour is something that's so important. It's something that we see. We see it in blurs. We can't quite make things out, but it's all around us. And it's the first real sense that we get. It's these beautiful colours, and it's how we see the world. So observation test to begin with. What's the colour of these pens? Black. So until we can see what the colour is, we don't know it's there. So for example, this one is green, but with the lid on, you can't see that it's green. No. This one is red, but with the lid on, you can't see that it's red. And this one is blue, but again, with the lid on, we can't see that it's blue. Now, if I was to start mixing those up, Dee, do you have any idea what colour is where? No. Okay, great. You pick them up. You give them a mix up. Give them a mix up. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to keep one for yourself, and you're going to give me 2 of them. Okay. Those 2? Okay, Dee, I'm going to give you 1 chance. Do you want to swap for this one or this one? No. You need something to colour in. So, colour! colour me. These are very, very, very simple little drawings, things that a kid would colour in. So they're numbered 1, 2, and 3. That's your first pen. You're going to colour in thing number 1 with that pen. I don't want to see, okay? So colour away for me. So here's the thing, D, is that once you're done, doesn't need to be neat, just stick the lid back on.
Yeah.
Great, put that pen to the side. You can grab either pen. As you're picking up these colours, you're seeing these colours for the first time because you mixed them up, you chose, you could have changed your mind from the pen that you had, and if you would have done, that would have meant that the first thing that you coloured in would be a different colour. Grab the last one and just colour in that number 3. So really, your perception and your perspective of all of these colours was of your choosing, right?
Yes,
great.
100%.
So pop the lid back on and let's have a look at what you did. So I can see it, it's all right. So you've got a red smiley face, a blue house, and a green tree. See, now here's the thing. When we're surrounded by all of that stuff, we take it in, but everything that we learn about colours, about life as children is influenced, right? It's influenced by what's around us, what our parents show us, what we're exposed to. And this is exactly what I wanted to influence you to do. Did you notice that in this envelope there was something else in there when I took that?
I did see another card.
One card in there. And will you read that out for me?
It says, you will draw a red smiley face.
A red smiley face.
A blue house.
A blue house.
And a green tree.
And a green tree. You mix them up. You could have picked any pen in any order. But we ended up here. Magic.
Bloody brilliant. Yeah.
Do you want to release that?
I'm not sure about the finale.
No, but release that.
We'll do the pen thing.
No, but release the vanish.
No, I don't think so. Got a reputation.
We'll cut the camera now because this is awkward. So you've just seen a performance of the trick that I perform most with Tricolour. I love this trick. I love this routine. I think it's incredibly falling. There's some lovely moments in there that really make them misremember actually what's happened. And once you learn it, I think you will love it. Please do not underestimate the power of this routine. It really leaves people speechless, and even when they try and backtrack it, they've got no idea what's going on. So let's have a look at the setup for this. So you're going to need your 3 pens and you're going to need your 3 double-sided envelopes. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to use exactly the same colours that you saw in the performance. So pen 1 will be red, pen 2 will be blue, and pen 3 will be green, okay? Now, let's have a look at the envelopes. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to essentially attribute each envelope a number. So 1, 2, 3. So that means that if 1 is red, envelope 1 is the red envelope. Envelope 2 is the blue envelope, and envelope 3 is the green envelope. There's very little memory work in this whole routine, and I really wanted to try and make it and build it that way that you have to do very, very, very little memory work. So envelope 1, red, pen 1, red, envelope 2, blue, pen 2, blue, 3, green, 3, green. So let's have a look inside an envelope. What I've done, just again, everything is as easy as possible, is I've marked each envelope as well. So if you can see here, I've made it very bold for the purposes of tutorial, but I have put 1 Sharpie dot in the corner of that envelope. That also helps me know the orientation of the envelope as well, which is very, very, very useful. So this is envelope 1, And this is what I call my side 1. Okay, and I'll show you on here. That's got 2 Sharpie dots on it. So you can see that that's envelope 2, and that's again side 1 of envelope 2. And then lastly here, this envelope, these are so worn, these envelopes, I performed this trick so much. There's 3 dots on there, and you can see that that indicates that that is my main side, side 1 of envelope 3. So let's have a look inside an envelope and see what we've got. So on my marked side, side 1, I've got the card that they're going to colour in and another card. Now I've also got another card on the other side, but here's how this is going to work. So on my main side, the marked side will always be the side that I open to pull out the thing that they're going to colour in. Now, this is envelope 1, so this is the red envelope. That always means that the first thing that they will colour in, the smiley face, will be red. We'll get onto this in a minute when we look into the routine, but that's the first thing. Once I know that they have the red pen and that's going to be pen number 1, envelope 1 is coming out. So the first thing that they're going to colour in is a red smiley face. That means that there are 2 options left. This is either going to be blue and green or green and blue. So that is essentially what we have on either side. On side 1, you can see that it's red, blue, green. And on side number 2, if I turn it over, you can see that that is red, green, blue. So once I know the first pen, I know which envelope I need to go for. From that point, there are only 2 possible outcomes. So then it's just about which side of the envelope I'm opening up for the out that I need. But we will look at all of this in the routining. So that is how your envelopes are set up. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab, these are just cheap bits of index card from local stationers. You can use business cards, you can use scraps of paper, you can use whatever you like. Just as long as it fits inside the envelope, then you can use it. I just use bits of card from Ryman's is where I get them, stacks of however many you get, and draw on them, and we're good to go. So 1 reveal on each side. On the main side is the thing that they're going to colour in. That gets closed up. Put that on the right side. So on the marked side, that goes face down in there. And we're good to go. Here's what you're going to do. Envelope 1 goes in pocket 1. Envelope 2 goes in pocket 2. Envelope 3 goes in pocket 3. I just remember 1, 2, 3 because it's sort of in order. 3 pens into your top pocket. You're good to go. Very little pocket space. An envelope in each pocket doesn't take up anything. You are ready to go all night. Once you've performed, all you need to do is grab another card for them to colour in, pop it in the envelope that you've just used. You can do it. You can reset in front of them, and you are good to go. So let's look at the routine. So just before we get into the main chunk of the routine, I just want to clarify exactly what's on every single card so you know how you're setting up. So let's look at envelope 1 first. We're going to have the card that they're going to colour, and then prediction 1, prediction 2. So this is the red envelope. So always the first thing that they're going to draw will be red. Then you're just going to go low, high, high, low. So if we think of the colours as 1, 2, 3, red is 1, blue is 2, 3 is green. Red is 1, 3 is green, blue is 2. So this colour will always be the same. The first colour will always be the same. And then you're just going to go low, high, high, low. Okay? So red, blue, green, green, blue. So that is envelope number 1. If we look at envelope number 2, we know that this is the blue envelope. So you've got the thing that they're going to colour in, that's in every single one. And then this is going to be low, high. So we know it's blue, red, green, because red is the lower color that we've got left, green is the higher color that we've got left. And on the other side, we've got blue, green, red, because green is the higher number, red is the lower number. Blue always is the same because this is the blue envelope, and then low, high, high, low. And then in the third envelope here, so in the third envelope here, what they're going to color in, green, red, blue, because it's low, high. And here, green, blue, red, because it's high, low. So red envelope, blue envelope, green envelope. First color is always the same. It's going to be red. And then low, high, low. Blue, low, high, low. Green, low, high, low. So if you think of your marked side as low and the unmarked side as high. So low is, if this is envelope number 3, green, and that is red, blue, because it starts, we know it's green, we ignore that once the envelope's out. All we're worried about are those second two colors. Red is number 1, which is lower than blue, which is number 2. So that is going on our marked side. That is the low side. And on the other side is going to be high. So that is green, blue, red. So that goes on that side. And then stick your drawing on your low side. And that is the same for every single envelope. So again, we've got our marked side here, which is our low side. So that is blue, red, green. That's going to go on the low side with the drawing on top of it. And on the other side is the high side, so blue, green, red. So that is envelope number 2. And then lastly, red envelope, that is red, blue, green, that's low, high, with the drawing on top of it. And on the other side is high, so red, green, blue. So envelope 1, pocket number 1. Envelope 2, pocket number 3. Envelope 3, pocket number 3. And we're good to go. Okay, so let's get into this routine. So here's how it's going to begin. You're going to bring the pens out, and whatever the presentation is that you want to do is fine. I like to talk about perception of colour and how we see things when we're little and when we're born. You could do this as a pure observation test that ends in coincidence. You could do it as a challenge. You could do it however you like. But we're going to start by showing the pens and asking them what colour the pens are. So I'm going to show you something with 3 pens, and the colour of these pens is, and I like that kind of leading is, and you're just sort of showing them, they're going to say black. Sometimes you get a smart, funny person, what a guy, who's going to say something different, but 99.9% of the time, they're going to say black. So this is the perfect time. It doesn't matter what order you're going to show them in, is to actually say, actually, this pen is green, but with the lid on it, there is no way that you can see what that colour is. And in doing that, you're sort of just displaying the pen to them, making sure that you're pointing out that you can't see through the little gap at the bottom. Just do make sure you actually do that. Squeeze the lid down so you can't see a gap, otherwise you don't have a trick. So you're going to show them that one is a different colour, that this one is red, that this one is blue. But again, with the lids on, there's no possible way that you can know what's where. And in that action, mix them up a little bit, give them a little mix up, and then you ask them, could you tell me what colours where? Sometimes they'll have a guess. If you can catch a glimpse of a marking, or even if you can't, if they guess at a colour, open it up. This one's, they'll say whatever. This one, that's the blue one. Okay, well, no, green. All of that stuff is just helping you prove that there is no way that we know what colour is where. So also nice to just point out at the moment, make sure, mix them up, make sure there's nothing written on the, if you say there's nothing written on there that's telling me what color it is, I can't see through the gaps, all you're doing is taking away their possible methods that they can think of. I promise you they are not looking between the arm of the Sharpie, and they never will. So show them, let them look at them. Do not be scared to let them have a look at them, because you're safe. So give them a mix up. You're then going to give them to the spectator. You can perform this for one person, two people, three people. It doesn't matter. It's nice if it's three people because everyone gets to colour something in, but it really makes no odds. So give them the pens and get them to mix them up. So they're going to mix, 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 mix. At this point, you're going to say, okay, I don't need to think about it, but you're going to keep one of the pens and you're going to give just the others back to me. So we still haven't set any rules. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's about to happen. So they're going to mix, mix, mix. They're going to keep one of the pens. I have no idea what they've taken. They're going to give me the other two back. Now, in this instance, all I'm going to do, I'm going to just run my thumbs down here. Now, if I want to feel, I can feel, but what I prefer to do, just for safety, is I just do I push my thumbs like this so that the arms are facing in, so I know that I can see through the barrels. And at that point, I say, I'm only going to give you one chance to do this, but do you want to change for one of these pens? You can have this one or this one. So now I know I've just seen 2, 1. I'll show you that in the camera. Have we got that? So you can see that that is 2 and 1. So I know 2 is blue, 1 is red. I know that that's green. Okay, but here I am going to give them the choice. I'm going to go, I'm only going to let you do this once, but do you want to change? You can have this one, you can have this one. So that's a really, this one, this one. I clearly get my marking. I know that's 2 and 1. Now, from this point, they can change if they want to. So I know they've got green, but let's assume they go, yeah, okay, I'll change. And they take this one and give me this one. So now I know I've got 2, 3, and they've got 1, which means they've got red. So by looking at these two, I know exactly what they've got. And do not look too soon. Do not peek too soon. Once you take those back, just take them casually. Okay, I'm going to let you change your mind once, but you can decide. You can change for one of these if you want. Like just as you just, it's a simple. Use the pens as a gesture. This one. It's up to you. I promise you will get them. You'll start to get them even as they're passing them back. You'll catch a glimpse of one. You won't even need to look. So let's assume that this is the situation we're in. They've kept one. You've taken 2 back. Do you want to change? They've changed, and you've been left with this. So I know this is 2 and 3. Okay. From this point, so that's their pen. I'm going to put these 2 down on the table. I'm going to put them down in low, high order. So I've got 2 here and 3 here. I'm going to put them down low, high. It doesn't matter which way round you do it, as long as you know which one's low and which one's high. You put them down. I like to do low on my left, high on my right. So it's low, high. All of the work is done now. I've got no memory work to do. I know that I've got red over there and I've got low, high. So at this point, this is the first time I introduce the sort of the rules. You need something to colour in. So as soon as that happens, okay, I'm just going to drop the pens down. You need something to colour. I'm going to go, I know that's 1, so I'm going for envelope number 1. So that comes straight out. And I'm looking for my marking. So my marking's here. And I also know that this is the low side, low, high, low, high. Okay, so they've taken, you need something to colour in. This comes out. I've looked for my marking. I'm going to open this. And I'm really going to do this slowly because I want them to notice that there's another card. It doesn't matter whether they do or they don't, but I want them to catch a glimpse of another card in there. So that's going to come. We need something for you to colour in. You're going to show this, just show that it's a simple drawing. You're going to close up your envelope and just table it, or you can hold it if you're doing this standing up. But ideally, you're just going to drop that down and not think about it. This is now going to sort of look like it's been there the whole time because it's there through so much of the routine. But because we haven't really set any rules up so far, this feels very inconsequential that this came out. They won't remember whether this came out before or after that they did a selection. So we're done with the trick now. So they've got envelope number 1, pen number 1, red, envelope number 1, red envelope has come out. We know that this smiley face is going to be red. I never loved the process of pick a pen. Okay, why don't you color in this? And you decide what they color in. So these are just numbered 1, 2, 3. So that's the first pen you chose. You're going to color in the first picture. So they're going to color in number 1, and then with the second choice, they'll color in number 2. Third choice, they'll color in number 3. So they take the pen you asked not to see, but they color in thing number 1. This pen, you ask them to recap it and stick it to the side. Doesn't matter. Okay. And then the next thing you're going to do with the same spectator or whoever the second person, okay, do me a favor, just grab one of the pens. Either one doesn't matter. That's really important that you make sure you don't say, grab that pen, grab that pen, grab the pen, either one, doesn't matter, your choice. If you want to change your mind before you do, change, because it doesn't matter. They're going to then pick up one of these pens. So let's assume they're going to pick up this pen. So this is my low side. If they pick up this pen, I do nothing. I leave that alone. We are good to go. If they pick up this pen, all I have to do is at some point turn it over. And we'll look at how we can do that. But let's assume they pick up this pen. They're going to color in thing number 2. They're going to pick up that pen. They're going to color in number 3. All I need to do is open that and I'm good for my reveal. So to make it a little bit difficult, let's assume they pick up the high pen. So, and I say difficult, you've got to turn it over. Pick either of the pens next. Which one you're going to go for? They're going to go for this one. I'll give them the chance. Do you want to change their mind? They might not. Let's assume they don't. Okay, color in the next thing. Don't let me see. So they're going to color in picture number 2. And they're going to get rid of that pen. Okay, lastly, grab the third pen and start coloring in. So they're going to start doing this. At this point, this is when I like to start recapping about the impossibility of the situation. So 3 pens that we didn't know which color was which, you mixed them up. You then picked one of the pens. You could have changed your mind. You did change your mind at the beginning, which means that that first picture would have been a different color to the one that it is now. You could have taken either pen, and that would have been, if you would have taken the other one, that would have been a different color. There's no way that we could have known that these 3 things were going to be colored in this way at this time. So did you notice that there was another card in the envelope? Now at this point, I would just pick this up and I've turned it over. So if it's on a table, you can just pick up and turn to present. It will fly by. You could just pick it up, and if you want to gesture to someone and come back and turn it over, just a natural offbeat of misdirection to turn it over. Within the chaos of them colouring, because you know exactly where you need to be by the time they've picked up the second pen, in all honesty, you could do this and no one would know. They're not going to be looking at this. So if this is, ideally you want this on the table, because it just adds a little bit of psychosomatic. You never went near it. But if it's in your hand, all you've got to do is just pass it from one hand to the other. It makes no odds. Do not make a move out of it. It doesn't need to be a move. But we know that we've got envelope number 1, which is red. They went for the high pen second, so we've turned to the high side, and the third doesn't matter. Did you notice that there was something else in the envelope when I took that card out? Some will say yes, some will say no. You know, open this flap up and fold it back on itself. It's just a nice assurance that there's only one side to it. Take that out, and usually I would give that to someone to read. I would read it. It doesn't really matter, but you will draw a red smiley face, a greenhouse, and a blue tree. And that, so at that point, I would let them do whatever they want to do. I would put that back in. If I'm going to reset, if I'm walk around, and I've got my refills in my back pocket or whatever, I'm going to grab another one. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to close that up. Envelope 1 goes back into pocket number 1. I'm reset. So that is how easy that is to do. This obviously is a simple routine with this color combination and with this setup of 3 colors, 3 envelopes, 2 outs. You can do anything. It obviously doesn't need to be these pictures. It doesn't, anything that you can do that it needs an order of 3, you can do. And with this envelope system, it will work. So it doesn't need to be pictures. It could be, you could do whatever you want. It could be words. It could be, it It could be any sort of colour match presentation that you are used to doing. You could explore. You could do traffic lights. You could do shoes. You could do whatever you want to do. But know that this will work however you want it to work. So as soon as they've chosen the first pen, that indicates the envelope that's coming out, and then you're going to get your peak to know what they've got. You put those pens down in a low-high order, and then you just see which one they take, which dictates which side you open. Zero memory work, zero toughness, 100% reliability, guaranteed. So hopefully that was super clear, but I just want to go over a couple of things just in case there are some people who just need clarification on a couple of bits. So pens come out, we've got 1, 2, 3 envelopes. That's red, blue, green, or whatever colors you want to use. They're going to shuffle, they're going to mix. They're going to take any pen that they want. They're going to give you the pens back, and you're going to say, I'm going to give you one option. Do you want to change for this one or this one? It is your choice. I know that at the moment they're holding blue. I've got green and red in my hands. So let's go with this outcome. I know that I need to put these pens down. They say, no, I don't want to change. Great. So keep that pen. I'm going to just knock these. I'm going to pop these down on the table. I've put them down low, high. They've got blue. That means envelope 2 is coming out. Envelope 2 comes out. I'm going to open to my marked side to give them the thing to color in. That's going to go with them. Envelope 2 would go down on the table. Marked side up. That is low side up. Then I'm going to say, grab either pen that you want. They're going to grab this one. I know it's low. I don't do anything. They color in. Third thing, they color in. I don't need to do anything. I open up. I take out the prediction, and we're all happy days. If they would have taken high, I just have to turn the envelope over. Same if they would have chosen green as pen number 1. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go for envelope number 3. That's going to come out mark side, give them the thing to color in, low high with the other pens. So I would be left with 1, 2, because that'd be red and blue because they'd have green. And then I just see whatever they pick up, low or high, dictates low side is the mark side, high side is the unmarked side. And that's it. Gives you every outcome. That is just a quick summation, summarizing. To summarize, I summarize, we summarize, they summarized. Who summarized?
So I want to show you something that sort of deals with something that we take for granted, I think, which is perception of simplicity. So when we're little, we see a lot of colours, right? And sometimes we can't even see what those things are, but we sense what those colours are and light and all of those things. So if I was to ask you what colour are these pens, you would say black. Yeah. Actually, they're different colours, right? Okay. So this one is red, but because the lid's on it, you can't see what colour it is. This one is blue, and this one is green, right? But with the lids on, if I do this, do you have any idea what colours where?
No.
No, okay. And I want you to see that you can't see through, like we're not looking through the lids here. There's nothing written on the pens that lets you know, no funny bits or anything like that. Will you mix those up for me in your hand? Just mix them up. Okay. And I want you to keep one of them for yourself, and you're going to give me the other 2. Okay, these. I'm going to give you one chance. Do you want to change your mind for one of these?
No.
You sure?
Sure.
Okay. You need something to colour in.
Okay.
So let me give you this. This is a really simple card that's got 3 drawings on it.
Okay.
Okay. I don't want to see what the colour is that you're using, but take the pen, colour in number 1.
Okay.
Just colour in number 1. Okay, not the number, the picture. So what number 1? Yeah, so colour in there. Once you've done it, doesn't need to be perfect, but once you've done with that, put the lid back on. Okay, done?
Yeah.
And we can get rid of the pen. Don't need it. Okay. Will you grab one of the other pens for me? Do you want to change your mind?
No.
Okay, great. Colour in number 2. Perfect. And we grab the last pen and colour in number 3. It doesn't matter who does it. So here's the thing that I want to go over. here's what I want to go over. Is that you didn't know where any of the colours were, right? Because we couldn't see them. Okay, and then you mixed them up,
Okay.
and then you picked one of the pens,
Yeah.
and you could have changed your mind,
No.
but you didn't, right? And if you would have changed your mind, that first picture would have been a different colour, and then you could have changed your mind when you picked up those ones, and that would have been a different colour. But that was the order. Should we have a little look at what you coloured in? You can show the camera.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a green face, a blue house, and a red tree. But the thing is, we're very influenced by colours. We're very influenced by what we're shown. And would you believe me if I said that this is exactly how it should be? No matter that you mixed it, that you shuffled, that you picked anything,
Okay.
this is exactly how it should be. Because did you notice that in this envelope there was another card in there?
Ah,
Did you notice that when I took it out?
no.
Because on this card, if you hold that up,
Yeah.
this card says, you will draw a green smiley face, a blue house, and a red
Wow,
tree.
incredible.
Thank you.
No, fantastic. I don't believe this.
It's perfect. Just like Mama used to make.
Wow, amazing, man.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you
good.
so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dee, do me a favour, grab these 3 Sharpies and start giving a little mix up. Do you carry a pen ever?
All the time.
And how often do you lose that pen? Where did I put that pen?
Well, I've got a very stylish pouch.
Oh, you have a...
So, so that I
if
never
you-
lose it.
But if you didn't have a really stylish pouch,
Oh no, it'd be long gone.
great. Okay. Do you mind if I
Yeah.
grab the pens? Okay. So I'm gonna fan the pens out like that. Will you do me a favour? Will you grab one of them for me? Great. Stick that in your back pocket.
Okay.
Grab another one. Stick that in your left pocket.
Okay.
And grab another one. Well, the last one, and stick it in your right pocket.
Don't have to be a mind reader to know that was the next instruction.
Well, it could have been under the hat. Could have been
Yeah.
under the hat. But if your spectator isn't wearing a hat, then don't worry. They'll always have somewhere else to put it. So, so far, quite unexciting. You mixed up some pens that were all the same, and you've stuck them in your pockets. But do me a favour. Just don't take it out yet. But I just want to show you in my right pocket here. I've got that,
Right.
which is a lid, but it's missing the bloody pen. Will you take out the pen that you put in your right pocket? The black Sharpie. Well, actually, if you...
I know where this is going. Oh.
That is the perfect Sharpie for that. If you grab your left pocket in there, I've got a blue lid, which should be exactly the one that I need for that. And if you reach into your back pocket as well, there's just one left. This is perfect. Shuffled Sharpies, grabbed by you, exactly where they're supposed to be.
Real magic.
Lives on. So here's another lovely routine that you can do with Tricolour. This is actually quite a fun thing. You can follow straight on from the main routine with this. So you would have noticed in your box, obviously you have 3 normal lids that came with your coloured Sharpies, as well as your marked lids. And I was talking with my good friend, Harry de Cruz. I paused on good friend because sometimes he lets me down, and that's okay, because friends aren't perfect. But I was chatting with him, and we were playing with the idea of this free will, and this came up, and I was so happy that it did. So, with your normal coloured caps, you would have just seen in the performance that they're going to live in your pockets. The spectator is going to select the pens, and then they're going to match up. And it's just, I think, such a lovely visual, especially, again,
because they don't know the rules of the game. They don't know the game they're playing before we get to the reveal. So this lovely moment of realization when they go, no, no, no. So do not feel like you need to explain everything up front. Let them work for the explanation. So we are going to have our red, our blue, and our green caps. Again, if you want to change the colors of your Sharpies, that is absolutely up to you, and you can do that. But this is what we'll be working with. So I like to do red in my right, just because that's easy. I put blue in my left, and green goes in my back pocket. That's just the setup that I remember, but please feel free to do any one that you like. Whatever works for you, whatever connects in your head, you do that. So we're set, we're good to go. Your pens are either out because you've just performed the main routine, or they're here in your pocket. So I quite like the premise of, do you ever forget where you put things? You know that something is supposed to be somewhere, but you have no idea where it's gone. I get it all the time. Pens, I lose them all the time. So I know this is going to sound weird, but just mix them up. So they mix these up, they mix these up, they mix these up. And then they're just going to hand them back to you. Again, don't feel worried about this. But as you get them back, all you're going to do is sort of just rotate them so that you can get your eyes on the inside peak. So I can see straight away they're in the order 2, 1, 3. So I know this, 2, 1, 3. I just keep saying to myself, 2, 1, 3. And that really does happen very naturally in the thing of them coming back. Perfect. Just sometimes I just spread them out so they kind of, it's easier for them to hold. So I literally have just gone, okay, great, 3, 1, 2. So I know that I've got 3, 1, 2 here. Again, I don't know if we're going to be able to see that on camera because as they're held in my hands, but 3, 1, 2. Have we got that? Great. So they're just gonna come back, and in the action of just straighten them out, and then you look away. Now this kind of goes along the same lines as a Visa Cabaret. So I know 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So I'm gonna just say, do me a favor, grab a pen. They're gonna grab this one. I can just feel which one they're taking. I can feel whether they're pulling from there, or pulling from there. So they're gonna just grab a pen and stick that in your back pocket. And this is mental because there is no way that you don't know that they've taken one, but it's something that Andy Nyman gave to me, and it's such a lovely subtlety that when they take, just going to take one, and so I know that this needs to go in the back. Put it in your back pocket. Have you got one? It's a silly thing to ask them, have you got one? Because of course you've got one. They just felt to take it out, but it just in that moment, it just secures the fact that they're not. It just undoes the method a little bit. So grab one, whatever one you take, stick it in your back pocket. Did you got one? Yep. Okay. So that's going to go in their back pocket. So let's assume I'm going to put this back here as their back. We'll assume that the person is standing here facing you. That's their right pocket. That's their left pocket, and that's their back pocket. So that's going to go in their back pocket. Okay, so grab another one. They're going to grab this one. That's going to go in your right pocket because I know that it was 3, 1, 2. So 1 is red. So that's going in the right pocket. That was green, so it's in the back pocket. And the last one, just stick in your left pocket. So now we've got 1 in the right, 1 in the left, and 1 in the back pocket. So from this point, they still don't know why you're doing it, which is great because it means that there's no heat on what you've asked them to do so far. It should just be very casual. Then take them back to the premise. Then take them back to... So I know I always lose things. I always misplace things. Like, for example, I've got this in my right pocket. You go into your right pocket and you pull out the lid. And it's at that point they'll start to clock what's going on. They might not know. So take out the one that's in your right pocket. They're going to take that out and pop the lid off. They're going to pop the lid off of the pen. Yeah, perfect. That's exactly where that was supposed to be. Stick the red lid on the pen and take both. Okay, and let's go in my left pocket. I've got this. At this point, they know what's coming. They're going to be pulling them out faster than you can say, yeah, that's exactly where that needs to be. And in my back pocket, I have got this, and this one will come out, and that goes on where it's supposed to be, and this goes away. Yeah, I knew exactly where I left them. And that's all you need to do. It's such a simple, quick routine, but you also then just left with Sharpies. You can do whatever you like with them. You can, you know, it's a lovely. I think it's a lovely ending to the main routine, to the hero routine that I taught you. So that is my Tricolour try will try free color for all. So Dee, I want to try something with you. Memories, right? We can often associate colors with those memories. There's color therapy. There's techniques in which associating colors can help your mood rings, all of those sorts of things. We're going to try something in a slightly simpler form. I've got 3 pens here, and even though that they look like they're black, actually they're all different colors. But with the lids on, you just can't see what colors where. I'm going to leave them up slightly so that you can actually see what colours are coming out at the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the pens. I want you to make a very conscious decision about which colour you pick. Don't think about why you connect with that colour, but just take a moment, take a breath, look at the colour, see which one you want to keep. Once you've done that, you're going to push the lids down on all of them so we can't see those anymore, and you're going to keep that pen for yourself. Okay, so do that for me now. So grab the pens, I'll look away, but you're just going to look at one of those colours. One of them is going to speak to you, and one of them is going to connect with you. Have you done that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Keep that pen for yourself, okay? And I can grab the other 2 pens. So I'm now going to give you an unconscious choice and say that, do you want to swap for either one of these pens?
No, I'm happy with this colour.
You're happy with that colour?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Take a card for me, and you're gonna draw something. But I want you to draw something that associates with that colour, that you can link to that colour. Now, it doesn't need to be literal. So let's assume if there was a purple pen, you don't need to draw
Barney the dinosaur.
Barney the dinosaur, a bar of Cadbury's or something. It doesn't need to be something literal. It can be something that for some reason, when you think of the colour that you chose, it just evokes that memory.
Very well.
Yeah? Do that for me now. I don't want to see. And as you're drawing this thing, Dee, I really want you to, if there is a memory attached to it, I really want you to let that memory sort of play out like a movie in your mind. Really let it take over your heart and your head. Think about whether it's a happy thing, a sad thing, a time of joy or stress, maybe. Like it might be someone that you associate that with. Let me know when you've done it.
I have.
Okay, great. I'll grab the cards and just pop it back in for me. Beautiful. And we'll give the cards a cut. So we're clear, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Can't
good.
see anything.
So I want you to think about. Firstly, I want you to think about the colour that you chose and really focus on it. There was a slight smile and a slight moment of, okay, so weirdly, green is not a colour that people tend to, green is a colour that makes people feel calm. Green is a colour that sometimes can make people feel envious or whatever that is, but it's not something that would normally produce a smile. So I don't think we're in green. And there was a naughtiness to it. So I think inherently, this is, the colour's red. Yes?
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
good. The colour is red. So in a moment, I'm going to take one of these cards and I'm gonna try and have a stab at whatever it is that you drew on here. So think about the thing that you drew.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
Red.
bingo. Okay. even though it's red and it's normally something naughty, I think this is actually quite a, I don't know, this is weirdly calming. This, but there will be a fire to it. Inherently, there will have been a danger. Okay. So, we got red. You gave us that. I got calmness, but I still got an element of quite literal, which is the literal thing, heat with it. Will you tell me for the first time what it is that you drew?
I drew a teapot.
A teapot?
Yes.
Okay,
a
was there
red teapot.
Was there anything specific about the teapot?
That song just came into my head, and I thought that might be a nice image to draw.
I got a teapot with a little steam.
With a little steam, there was indeed a little steam.
Where?
Yes.
A teapot with a little steam. There you go. A teapot with a little steam. I don't know why I did the voice. With a little steam. It's a 1940s gangster teapot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my memory.
Yeah.
I got given a teapot by a 1940s gangster.
Wow, would it be 20s?
Well, I don't know. I'm sure there was probably gangsters in the 40s as well.
Probably gangsters now.
Yeah.
Let's don't talk like that. We should probably cut there.
Yeah.
So let's talk through the explanation to the drawing dupe that you just saw, which is essentially what it is. Whether you write it or draw it, that's what we're dealing with here. But I think with the Tricolour pens, what's added is that lovely little colour reading that you can give as well. And it gives a reason for them to draw something. It gives them something to focus on. A lot of the time, if you just write something, peek it, and then reveal it, I think is very, very powerful. But this, I think, just why not? It helps focus it if the pens are in play already or before you've started with them. I think it's a great thing to do. So let's have a look at the mechanics of how this thing is working. So by now, the first bit will be no surprise to you. You're going to give them the pens. I quite like this little visual of just leaving them slightly ajar like that so they can see the colours. So you're going to do that with all three pens. So you're going to leave them slightly ajar, like that, so that they can see the colours. You're going to give them the pens and you're going to ask them to focus on a colour, to see which one appeals to them, and then push all of the caps down and keep that pen for themselves. So let's assume they're going to keep the red and they'll push these down and give them back to you. At this point, again, there are many ways to get your peak here. So you can do the standard thing of saying, do you want this one or this one? And I can see 3 and 2 here. So I know that they're holding red. Even just in the handing off of, okay, so when they give these back to you, you can just roll them in your hands. I can see very clearly there that that's 3 and 2 and put them down. You could give them the card first, and then as you just push them away from yourselves, again, I can see through the table 2 and 3. So there's lots of ways that you can get your peak on the pens. But we know that they've got red. You're going to give them a card and then ask them to draw something that they associate with that colour. So let's assume they're going to draw. And I think it's quite nice to just ask them to not draw something literal. So I use the example there of if you've got purple, don't draw a bar of Cadbury's, or if you had yellow, don't draw a sun. So they can draw whatever they want. So let's assume that they are going to draw an eye, is what they're going to draw. You won't know this yet. All you know at this point in time is that they've picked red. So let's look at the handling of how I get my peak on this. This is a peak that I learned from a friend of the 1914, Louis Laval. it's a really lovely peak. So you're going to spread the cards and just ask them to put the card back in. And what you're going to do is you're going to catch a break underneath the top card of the lower half of the stack. So this one here is where you're catching your break. So what's going to happen is the card that they've drawn on is going to end up second from the bottom is where we're going to put it. So their card is here. They're going to put it back in. You're just going to catch a break underneath there. So theirs is there. You've got your break underneath the top card of the lower stack. It's going to go on top. You're going to throw everything on top, square up, and hold a break just below the card there. So now the situation is this. There is a blank card and then their card that they've drawn on just above there. No double undercuts, no nothing. Give the cards a cut at the break and flash both sides. It's a lovely subtlety that you can just flash both sides so that nothing, they just get the glimpse that it's in there somewhere. They've put it back in. So let me show you that one more time. Let me find, so it's there, second from bottom. You're going to ask them to put the card back in. I'm going to catch my break below that top card. So their card is going to go on top. Everything squares up. I catch my break. I give them a cut. And I flash. Now in this moment, when I flash, I can come back and just turn them straight over. So now the card is second down facing up right here. And in this situation, everything looks very fair. So I'm going to talk now, and here's where I'm going to get my color first. So this is the advantage, because realistically, if you had a bunch of pens, you could do the peak and get the color. But it's nice that you haven't seen anything yet. They've clearly seen you haven't seen anything yet. So focus on the color. You're going to do your reading on the color. So whatever little tells they give you, work with that. If you're experienced in cold reading, then go to town with all of that stuff. It's not something that I do a lot of. Cold reading, I use little bits of it here and there, but you do as much or as little as you want to do. You could just say, look at me, hold the pens in your hand. You could mix them up so you can't see, okay, I think it's red. You know, you can get it any way you want, but you're going to focus in, and the color is what you're going to get first. Here's where you're going to get your peak. So once you've got the color in that moment, okay, I'm going to try and take a guess at what you've drawn. You're going to angle the stack towards yourself. So I'll do this as if the spectator's here. You're going to angle the stack towards yourself. You're going to thumb off this top card and show it as blank on both sides. But you can clearly now see the drawing. I wouldn't look down yet. I would show this card. Okay, I'm going to try and take a little guess at this, and I'd pop it sticking up on top. I'll try and have a guess at whatever it is that you've drawn. And as I look down, I can clearly see what they've drawn. And I'm going to get my peak that way. So showing you from the back, you're going to thumb off, display. I'm going to try and have a guess at something and read your tells. And whatever you've drawn in here, we'll try and let come through to me. I'm going to drop this on the table, and I'm going to cut that in, again showing both sides, put the stack down, and we're done. So now lost in the middle of the stack is their drawing. I know exactly what it is. We've already got the color red. I know it's an eye, and then we're going to reveal in any way that you want. You can write it, you could draw it, whatever you prefer. I would use the same pen. It's just a nice confirmation of the color selection, and you're done. And then you can push through the stack to then show their drawing in the middle, and that they match perfectly. And that is the drawing dupe. So just to go over again, they're going to pick their pen. You're going to get the peak on the pen. You're going to give them the card. They're going to draw on it. You're going to push. You're going to catch your break underneath the bottom stack. Everything's going to square up. You're going to cut and display both sides. That then's going to sit in your hand. It's second from the top now, facing up. When you say that you're going to then try and have a guess at what they've drawn, whatever it is that they decided to go for. You get your peak. You drop that to the table. You cut that into the deck. Again, just display for fairness. Tiny little convincers. You draw, you write, you reveal. And that is a drawing dupe with a colour reading using Tricolour. So Dee, I want to show you something that I'd normally do with 3 people around a table. But if you could play all of those 3 people, that would be great. Don't think too much about it. I'll just have a different accent and a different physical persona with each person that you're playing. But don't think about it. Just really, I just want you to Daniel Day-Lewis it, okay? So, I've got 3 pens, 3 cards, and 3 envelopes. Do me a favour, mix up the envelopes for me.
Okay.
Okay, mix up the cards for me. And mix up the pens for me. Okay, here's what you're going to do. Person 1, you're going to keep one of those pens for yourself and you're going to give me the other 2. Great. I'm going to give you 1 chance. Do you want to change your mind for either of these pens?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Okay, great. We're going to give person 2 and person 3 a pen. We're going to give the cards out. And we're going to give the envelopes out as well. So now everyone has a pen, everyone has a card, everyone has an envelope.
Yes.
You shuffled everything. The envelopes were shuffled, the cards were shuffled, the pens were shuffled. You could have changed your mind when you chose the pens. If you would have changed your mind, that would have been a different outcome. If every single envelope was in a different order, it would have been a different outcome. Written on the cards, I haven't shown you this yet, but there are different objects. So we've got a house, a tree, and a sun. The other thing that I didn't tell you was that these look like black Sharpies, right?
They do.
But actually, they're different Sharpies. So if you open that one, person number 1, you're going to draw whatever object you've got on the back of your envelope.
So I've got a house. So I'm going to draw.
You're going to draw a house.
House.
Great. You can recap. Person number 2, you're going to draw a tree.
I wonder what colour I've got.
You've got a blue. They could do this all without looking, all at the same time.
There we go.
Great. And then person number 3. A sun. Great.
Could have been an illustrator.
You could have.
A very bad one.
Yeah,
But
I don't know that you would have made loads of money, but so here's what we're left with. We're left with a picture of a red house, a picture of a blue tree, and a picture of a green sun. If you would have shuffled these envelopes into a different order, they would have been in a different place.
Yep.
If you would have shuffled those cards into a different order, they would have been with a different envelope. If you would have shuffled those pens and picked a different pen, there would have been a different colour on the front of every single one of these envelopes. The probability of it ending like this is something we absolutely could not have seen coming. I didn't
agree.
show you that there was one more thing. There was a card inside every single one of these envelopes. Inside this envelope was a card that said, a red house. Inside this envelope is a card that says, a blue tree. And inside this envelope was a card that says, a green sun. Every choice made by you at every stage, but we ended exactly where we needed to be.
It's like destiny.
Sort of, or a magic,
Destiny
or
and
a magic,
fate had a baby.
or a magic trick.
Yeah.
Probably.
more.
Is it probably the magic trick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of those chair tests.
But with envelopes.
With no chairs. Yeah.
Well, we're in chairs.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Well,
that's
very
that.
good.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers, thanks.
Yeah, it's a
Thanks.
good trick.
You heard it here, folks. A good trick. So one thing that I'd love to encourage you to do is to get creative and come up with your own routines and your own ideas and your own applications to use Tricolour. I am 100% certain that there are many people watching this who are far, far smarter than I am. So I'm excited to see what you come up with, and please share it so that I can, steal it from you. And I really look forward to doing that. So along those lines, let's have a look at a couple of ideas that I've been exploring and things that I love and premises that I love, and see what we can make work using this prop. So let's have a little look at a chair test. This would be a close-up environment chair test. Obviously, I would say chair test as a premise. We won't literally be swapping people in chairs and doing stuff. I don't have spectators with me, so we're going to use the very high-tech version of saying that that is person 1, that is person 2, and that is person 3. There. So here's what you're going to need. You're going to need your 3 Tricolour pens. You're going to need 3 billets. And you're going to need 3 envelopes with a billet inside each envelope. So there's one in there, and there's one in every other one. So, as we've explored before, everything is going to match up. So our pens are marked. So that's 3, 1, 2. So we've got pen number 1, pen number 2, and pen number 3. Everything is going to line up. So with pen number 1, we're going to have billet number 1, which is going to be a house. Again, these can be any images that you want, but for this purpose, it's going to be a house. So 1, 1. You're going to mark this billet so you know that it's a 1. Mark it in any way that you like. You can pencil dot it. If there's a design on the back of your billets, then you can, or your business card, you can mark in that way. Any marking system that you like. I know the 1914 have a great project looking at marking systems and how to mark things, so you can explore that if you haven't got any ideas. But I would really just suggest a pencil dot on the back of the card for 1, 2, and 3 will serve you just fine. For the purpose of the explanation, I am going to be obnoxiously bold. So this is billet number 1. I'm going to write 1 on the back, so we know that that's billet number 1. That goes with pen number 1. I also then need envelope number 1. So inside here, it has a red house written. Pen 1 is red. Billet number 1 has house written on it. When they're put together, it's going to make a red house, and that is in envelope number 1. So again, the envelope is marked. A pencil dot, the shape of the fold, the flap of the envelope will absolutely do. But again, for the purposes of what we need to do, I'm going to mark it 1 so we can see what's going on. Envelope number 1, billet number 1, pen number 1. Same as we go on. Tree is 2, so pen number 2, billet number 2. Let's mark it. 2. Envelope number 2 has written inside a blue tree. So that's inside the envelope. Again, I need to mark the envelope. So let's 2. Thirdly, I have a sun. I want these things to be really quick, easy things to draw. That's number 3. Again, please, I have to just double down on the fact, do not mark them like, don't write 1, 2, and 3 on the back. Marked subtly, so only you can see. So that's billet 3, pen 3, envelope 3, which has, we know that 3 is green, has a green sun written. How's that hand position for you? Is that weird? A green sun written in there, and I'm going to mark this envelope number 3. Again, subtle markings on everything. Please don't write the numbers on them. So here's how you're going to start. Pens together, billets together. Doesn't matter what order they're in, so they can be mixed up however you like. Envelopes together. Doesn't matter what order they're in. They can be mixed up however you like. I would start like this, those on top of each other, and they're going to sit there. You've got your 3 people. The first thing we're going to do is give them the choice of the pen. This is exactly the same as we've done it before. So you're going to give the pens to person number 1. You're going to give the 3 billets to person number 2. And you're going to give the 3 envelopes to person number 3. You're then going to ask them to just everyone start mixing what you've got. Don't look, don't pay attention, but just start mixing what you've got. So they're going to mix. I'll close my eyes so we've got no idea how that's going to end up. They're going to mix these. So we have no idea what's where. And they're going to do the same with the pens. Okay? You can leave the pens. They'll keep mixing the pens. You're going to grab these envelopes. As you do, you're going to splay and get a reading on the markings. So I know at the moment that they're 2, 3, 1. I just want to displace these into whatever order I need to, okay? But not yet. So I'm just going to grab these. I'm going to grab these and just splay. They've ended up 1, 2, 3. Now with the pens, I'm going to say keep one of those pens. So we're going to do our normal routine. So they're going to mix the pens, keep 1 and give 2 to me. So they're going to keep 1. You're going to do your normal peak. I'm going to give you the chance. Do you want to change this one or this one? So I know I've got 2 and 1 here. So 3 is there. Okay. All I need to remember is the order of these 3 pens. So 3 is there. Okay. I'm going to give you person number 2 choice of one of these. Okay. They're going to take this one, and person number 3 gets this pen. Okay. So now we're in a situation where I know we've got 3, 2, 1. Okay. So now I've glimpsed these. They're in 1, 2, 3. I don't want to change the order. So I'll just turn them the other way up because I know that you're going to get, okay, you mix these. So you've got a sun, a tree, and a house. So now 3 is with 3, 2 is with 2, and 1 is with 1. Everyone with me so far? If those would have been a different order, so let's assume that they were in a different order. So let's assume the pens were in 2, 1, 3, and these came back to me mixed. It doesn't matter what order they're in. I'm going to glimpse. I can see that I've got 1, 2, 3. So I just need to displace this card to the bottom of the pile. So I would probably pick up and just pick up the other 2, just as I'd grabbed one and need to put the other 2. You can displace them however you like. There is nothing wrong with this. You just get back, just saying, and you mix those and just mixing them into the order that you need. Get away with it on and off beat in a subtle way. So now I just hand them out. So that's 2, 1, 3. So the pens have been mixed. This person could have changed. They picked a pen. These have been mixed. You just randomly, you pick them up, you just hand them out. So the last thing that we need to do is grab our envelopes that have mixed. And again, we're in 213. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to pick up, and I've now displaced into the order 2, 1, 2, 1, 3. So these go into the order. I'm just going to drop you, you, you. We're done. Everything's done. So now everything lines up where it needs to be. From here, I'm going to say, all you're going to do is you're going to draw on the envelope. It will obviously not be marked with this big 2. Whatever you've picked, you're going to draw that on the envelope. So this person would draw, excuse my terrible drawing, a blue tree, so on and so forth. This person would then be drawing a red house, and this person would be drawing a green sun. And then you need to double down on what's happened. 3 envelopes were mixed, 3 cards were mixed, 3 pens were mixed. Everything was shuffled by you. Everything was handed out. You could have picked a pen. You could have taken a different billet. You could have taken a different object, which would have meant that colour in that object. But then if you would have taken a different envelope, you would have been drawing on something different. You need to explain fully the absolute improbability of what is about to happen. Mixed pens, mixed objects, mixed envelopes. One small different choice would have meant that this outcome would have been completely different. But then they've drawn a blue tree on their envelope. There is one card inside that envelope that says a blue tree, that says a red house, and that will say a green sun. And that is a chair test using Tricolour. Let's just quickly run over a couple of things just to get set. We're going to ignore the blue tree on here. Let's grab our envelopes. We're just going to do the whole thing now that we've done it painfully slow. We're just going to show you exactly what that could look like. So these come out. This person's mixing the cards. This person's mixed the envelopes. Okay, this person's mixed the pens. They're going to take one pen. You're going to give them the choice. Do you want to change? You can change this one and this one. No? Okay, great. So you take one, you take one. Okay, I think it's very important that you don't, whether you give them out just like that, but don't change the order that they came back in. Try not to do that. So that's going to come back. That's going to come back. These came back to you mixed. Okay. Perfect. So you mix these however you wanted to mix them, and then just drop them out like that. These are going to do exactly the same thing. So you're going to pick those up. You're going to throw them out to whoever needs them. And now one's with 1, two's with 2, three's with 3. Play with the handling. Play with what feels comfortable. But I think that in a walk around environment, when you've got a few minutes, is going to be the equivalent of closing a parlor show or closing an out with a chair test. It's very powerful. So play, enjoy, have fun. That is a close-up envelope chair test. Chemvelope. It's a chemvelope test. Enjoy the Tricolour chemvelope chest. So that's it. That brings us to the end of Tricolour. Not the end of it altogether. It will live on, fingers crossed. So thank you. I just want to say, please, something that I'm very passionate about with all magic is let your imagination run wild. Do not be limited by the things that I've shown you, by the things that I've taught you on this project. These are simple little things, but I really think that there is so much that you can achieve with them. Already there are other things that I think of with them. For example, when I showed this to Harry de Cruz, and I showed him the main effect with the sort of the color match effect, A wonderful idea came up that you could do this on stage, and rather than having the things drawn out, what you would do is have them drawn in pencil and say, colour me in, and colour me first, me second, me third. So when you flash that card to the audience, they're not going to see anything drawn on that card. So as you walk over in a sort of dual reality state, you could walk over to the spectator on stage with you, and you could say, okay, you're going to pick some pens and you're going to do some colouring in. And all you need to do is present the card, make sure that they're looking at it, make sure that they're reading at it. And what that would leave you with is that they will then colour in the pencil drawings. And to the audience, you then have an extra reveal of not only did you guess the colours, you guess what they were going to draw as well. It wouldn't work close up because all it would take, how did you know what they were going to draw? Well, they were drawn in pencil. So it's definitely a stage idea or a sort of bigger parlour idea, but a beautiful piece of dual reality. These as well, you don't need to say that they're different colours, but if you wanted to divine who wrote what in a sort of sneak thief, magician's graphology sort of way, you could give out the pens, and then you're just reading the information, but because you know who had what colour, you'd know exactly whose information belongs to who. There are many things that you could explore with these. Also, I know what some of you are thinking. 3 isn't enough. I think it is from experience. But if you wanted to add a 4th colour in, really simple to do. Grab yourself any Sharpie and grab a knife or X-Acto blade or anything that is sharp. A nail file will do it as well. And all you're going to do is you are going to cut off the nib completely. It will take you about 15 seconds to do. And that means that you would have a 4th marking on a cap. And you'll be able to know that, so say for your drawing dupe, you just wanted to add in another colour, then this would do it exactly. You could just count that as number 4. So in this case, I've got a yellow pen in there with no nib on there at all. And that would be my number 4. So if you desperately wanted to add in a 4th pen for any reason, obviously that won't work with the double envelopes because it increases the number of outs too much. But if you wanted to do more of a traditional, just have them out, maybe do the style where you know where they are in your hands and they're picking randomly and you wanted to tell them what to colour in, you could then do that with a 4th pen. I don't think it's necessary, but it's there for you. Get creative, use it. But for me, not a thing I need. So go, get creative, come up with every idea that you can think of. I cannot wait to see it. Thank you so much for buying Tricolour, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. So kick back, relax, go perform it, or stick it in your bottom drawer. It doesn't matter. Have fun. Peace out. I ended it weird again. Why did I end it weird? Just look, from one person to another person, happy magic. But wait, there's more. So, as you can see, I look different now. I have spent the last however many months working exclusively on my appearance, mainly in the hair department, and I just wanted to show you. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Tricolour. Joking! A bit of time has passed and we have some exciting things to show you. One being when we did the original explanations, which is everything that you've just watched a good few months ago, I was using prototype props, and now I can show you exactly the things that you will be getting in your Tricolour pack. One being these beautiful Tyvek two-way envelopes that are going to last you a very, very, very long time. So these are exactly the same as what you've just seen me working with, and you would have opened your box and seen what you got, and you will see these in there. These have been beautifully designed to open and to work. They're in black, which I just think is a little bit sleeker, a little bit sexier, and I just wanted to show you them. So we'll talk about these in a little while, but also in the meantime, I thought of some more ideas, and whilst I know that all of your imaginations and creativity will be brimming and flowing, I just thought I would put these extra things on here for you so you've got as much information as we can possibly give you, and you can perform everything you could possibly think of with Tricolour without having to use your own brain or imagination, because who wants to think these days? So let's roll it. So recently, we went on a school outing to the Blackpool Magic Convention, and there was a routine that I've been playing with for a few months now, and it is bold, and I will tell you now, it will not hit 100% of the time, but it turns this trick, if you are brave enough, into an absolute miracle. My biggest problem with colour matches or anything like this was always that there was something that had to be determined about the process. So whether that be if you were doing the brilliant original method of, the Craig Filichetti version where you're colouring in, now colour the trousers, now colour the thing, you're dictating to them, this is the thing you're going to colour in, and this is what I want you to colour in. And there was that version is phenomenal, and obviously I teach you a version where there are predetermined things that just feels freer in a slightly different way. But with what I'm about to teach you, I hope you'll see how exciting this can be, where you will allow your spectator to seemingly draw anything they want. So now we take this trick and turn it from colouring this thing that I've given you to take a pen and draw anything that you want when you see that colour that you're inspired to draw. So not only are we predicting the colour and the order that they have drawn and coloured things in, but also what they're going to draw on top of that as well, which just takes this trick to a whole new level. So I hope you enjoy this new version of Tricolour. All right, so let me grab some pens. I have got some Sharpies. What colour are these Sharpies?
Black.
So if you take the lids off, you'll see that actually that one's green, this one is yellow, and this one is red, right? But with the lids on, it means that you can't see what colour is what. So can you just mix those up for me?
Ready?
And whenever you're happy, you're going to keep one for yourself and give me the others. No. You're happy? I'm going to give you a chance. Do you want to change your mind? You can change for this one, you can change for this one.
I'll stay this one.
You're going to stay with that one. Yeah. Okay. Can you just put your hands out for me? Okay. I'm going to leave those there. And we need you to colour something in. So, I'm going to give you this. Here's what's going to happen. Blank piece of paper. You're going to draw 3 things on there, so leave yourself space. But you're going to take the lid off that pen. I'm not going to look. You're going to take the lid off that pen, and just whatever comes into your mind when you see that colour, a simple picture, you're going to draw that. Okay? So let's go for it. So take the lid off, draw whatever you see in your mind, whatever you want, just draw that.
Yeah.
Okay, pop the lid back on.
Yeah.
Okay, pass someone else the pen. Okay, and pick up either one of those. You sure?
Yeah.
Great. Take the lid off. Whatever picture comes into your head, you're going to draw that thing. Let me know when you're done.
Yeah.
Okay, lid on. Pass the pen over. Last pen, pick it up. Draw whatever comes into your head. The first thing that you think of when you see that colour, draw that thing.
Yeah.
You're done.
That'd be shit
Yeah.
crazy, I guess.
Okay. Okay. Pass the pen over. So can I see what you got?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you got a green tree, a red house. Nice, okay, I see why. And a yellow sun. Okay, good. So those pens, you had no idea what you were picking up, what you were choosing, and also you had no idea what you were going to draw, right?
Yeah.
When I opened this envelope, did you notice that there was another piece of paper in there? There was just another card
Okay, yeah.
in here. I wrote, you will draw a green tree, a red house, and a yellow sun. Thank you. Of course. So let's get into this. You've just seen a performance. I'm going to explain to you exactly how I achieved what you just saw. So there are variations on this, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but we're just going to start with exactly what we've just seen. For this, you're going to need to replace your blue pen with a yellow Sharpie. So in this case, I have taken my number 2 lid and I have put a yellow Sharpie into that lid. So now let's start with number 1. So now in number 1, I have red. In number 2, I have yellow. And in number 3, I have green. So we're just changing out that one color there. You're set up exactly the same as you normally are with your pocket index of envelope, 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 or however you want to body index them. But we're numbered 1, 2, and 3. We're going to start this in exactly the same way as we do. All that's happening here, I have my target objects. So actually, let's start with this. Let's start with talking about psychologically what they're going to draw, which is what is happening here. We are performing psychological forces on the spectator. So if I asked you to open up this pen and draw the first thing that comes into your mind when you see this color, something simple, something that we would all recognize and know, and you see yellow, I can tell you now, you're going to draw the sun or a star is pretty much what you're going to draw with that yellow pen. Maybe there will be other things that come into play, but we're just going to, for the minute to explain this, we're just going to go under the assumptions that these psychological forces are going to hit. So the sun or a star. If you are picking up the green, you are going to draw a tree or a flower. If you're picking up the red, this is the slightly more complex one. You're going to draw a heart, an apple, or a house. The first things that are going to come into your head. Now, I know what you're thinking. I didn't think of that. I thought of something else. There's something else that came into my mind. That's okay. But we're going to do a couple of things to try and guide our spectator and our audience to where we need them to be. So heart, apple, house with red, yellow, sun or a star, and green, a tree or a flower. So we're going to do the routine in exactly the same way. All of my envelopes are set up in exactly the same way. That 1 is red, 2 in this case is yellow, and 3 is green. So the first object revealed, I have written on my predictions, red is a house, yellow is the sun, green is a tree. And so it was exactly the same. That number 1, my red envelope right here, has house. You will draw a red house as the first thing, and then as we talked about, you turn either way to either then get the green tree next and then the yellow sun, or the yellow sun and then the green tree. We don't need to go over all of that again. That's all been covered. It works exactly the same. So you're going to give them the pens. You're going to ask them to mix them up. You can show them before if you want to and say, what color are these? Black? No, they're actually all different colors. Take the lids off as we have in the previous routines. And then you're going to ask them, you're going to give them their instructions. In a moment, I'm going to give you a piece of card and you're going to draw some pictures. You're going to draw 3, so leave enough space to do them all. But you're going to take one of these pens at random. You're going to take the lid off, look at the color, And whatever you think of first, whatever comes into your mind inspired by that color, something simple, something that we'd all recognize, don't overthink it. Just the first thing that comes into your mind, a simple, quick picture that you can draw quickly, draw that. So for example, and here's the key bit. For example, if you're picking up that red house, you might draw an apple or a heart. So you're going to knock out those two options because you're going to state them. You draw an apple or a heart. So now they're going to think of a quick thing, and fingers crossed, house is where they're going. You know, if you're picking up the red, you're going to draw an apple, a heart, the yellow's a star, the green's a flower, whatever you want it to be. And that whatever you want it to be is a lovely thing to put on the end, which is just always battering them over the head with draw what you like, draw what you like. But actually, what we're limiting them down to is pretty much one or two options. I will say, having done this quite a few times now, I would say if we're being very, very honest, it's about an 85% hit rate, which is pretty high for something that genuinely lives in the world of free choices. And I think it's okay if you miss. If there is, you'll definitely hit two. I've never not hit two of them. So whether that's the house and the tree, or the sun and the house, or whatever, there's always two hits. Which, in all honesty, if this is in the middle of your set, I don't think that matters. But if you hit all three, it really is quite remarkable. And I just wanted to give you this routine because it's exciting, and I think we should be bold and we should be brave. And you know, whatever it is that you're going out to do that takes a little bit of guts to do that first time. You know, you go out and do PK touches for the first time. It's scary the first couple of times that you do it. The same with this. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. There's plenty of other routines that you can do. So let's pick up. You're going to give them the pens as normal. You're going to do the same process that they're going to mix them. They're going to keep one for themselves and what they've got. I've just dropped one down on the table, and they're going to give you two back. At this point, you're going to say, great, do you want to switch? Do you want to go this one or this one? So now I know that the yellow pen is on the table because I've seen my 3 dots here. I'm trying to show that to the camera. Can you see that? And I've seen my 1 dot here, meaning that there is 2 dots on this pen. So I know that yellow is in their hands. So I'm going to go to envelope 2, my yellow envelope, because then there's only 2 outs from this point. This comes out. I've got my marked side up. I then drop these low to high, again, to take out that work from later. So I now know that 2 is here, 1 is here, 3 is here. Feels very hands off from this point, like you're not touching anything. You open up your envelope. You take out your blank card. This is also joyous to just give them a blank, for a colour match, to give them a blank card. Drop that in front of them and drop the envelope back down, or wherever you want to put it, with that side facing up. So they're going to take off this, lid, the first thing that they're going to think about. You've already eliminated star in the explanation. So they're going to draw a sun. Fingers crossed, they're going to draw that sun. They're then going to pick up either one of the pens next. They go for this one. Do you want to change your mind? Give them the choices, because you can here. You can be very free. They say, no, I'm sticking with this one. So I know they've got green now. So now we've gone high-low, which means we need to turn our envelope over at some point. The best point to do that is when everyone's focusing on over here somewhere. So you're going to look at that. You're going to draw the first thing that comes into your mind. They see green. They're going to draw a tree or broccoli. That's going to go down. And last but not least, take that, draw the first thing that comes into your mind. At some point, if this is still in your hand, you're just turning it over and leaving that face down. So they're going to open this last thing, last pen. They've seen red. And they're going to go, okay, we've already tried to eliminate apple and heart, or you can eliminate house and apple. You can change this to heart if you want to. You can change this to whatever you want, but we've gone for house. So they then draw a red house and they drop the pens. So now we're in this situation. that they have a blank piece of card where they've drawn any pictures that they want to draw, completely free choice and at random, limited by us and limited by the colours that we've given them and limited by the stipulation of draw it quick, don't think about it, something we'd all recognise. At which point you're going to go for your reveal. Did you notice there was another card in there? You're going to open up your envelope, take this out and ask them to read it, and it will say, you will draw a yellow sun, a green tree and a red house. So there are other options. You want a heart is probably, if you're, especially statistically, if you're performing this on a younger female, chances are a heart is what's going to come into their head. So maybe you eliminate house and apple, and heart will be the first thing that comes into their head. Maybe you want to go for the star. Maybe there are other colours that you're thinking, okay, can I get them to dolphin with blue? I think blue is a much harder colour. There's a lot more scope to go on there. Look into psychological forces. If you go back to Banachek's Psychological Subtleties and his work on, the fact that a rose is going to be a flower. So maybe if you're asking them, draw the first flower that comes, you can use this and adapt this to whatever suits your style best. If you're more of a mystical performer, go for it. But these are, I think, the best way to explain this. And these are the forces that I would use. The red one is the one that would change for me. I would go between heart or house. Apple, weirdly, a lot of people say, but it could also be green. It could be, there are other things that you can go, but tree and flower, sun and star are pretty guaranteed. You are always going to get people that don't think of those things. And that's all right. That's all right. Don't shout at them like I have in the past, berate them, really belittle them publicly. And then post online as well. I really must apologise to those people. But that's not what we're talking about now. We're talking about this. So we're aiming for this. That's the sort of very free draw anything version of Tricolour, which I can't recommend giving it a go enough, because it is such a powerhouse when it hits. But I'm not going to lie to you and say it's 100% of the time, because it's not. But it's a very exciting routine. So use it, get creative, get brave, enjoy it. All right, so stand in a line for me. It doesn't matter, you can stand, just stand in a line, but stand whichever way you want. Okay, happy?
Yeah.
All right, so this is position 1, position 2, position 3. That's all right, you're fine, you're fine. So position 1, position 2, position 3. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna get you, what colour are these pens?
Black.
I'm gonna tell you now, I fooled you instantly, because actually, one's blue, yeah, one is, what did you say? Oh, one's red, yeah, and one is green, right? So can you do me a favour? Can you just mix them up for me? Yeah. I'm gonna grab, so you've mixed them up?
Yeah.
Thank you, I'll take those back. So just straighten yourselves up a little bit for me.
Yeah.
Take one. Okay, and I'm going to give you, don't uncap them just yet. I'm going to give you a piece of card, I'm going to give you a piece of card, and I'm going to give you a piece of card. Here's what you're going to do. I'm going to look the other way. You're going to take the lid off those pens, and you're just going to write your name on that card, stick the lid back on the pen, and then hold that writing sides to your chest.
Okay.
Okay, go for that. And let me know when you're done. You done?
Yep.
Everyone done? Lids back on?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. Here's what's going to happen. I want you to change places. Everyone stand in a place that they are not already standing in. So you have to all be standing in a different spot. Okay? Happy?
Yeah.
All right. So you stood in whatever order you wanted to. You mixed up those pens.
Yes.
You took a pen each.
Yes.
You wrote your names down, and then you stood in a new position again. Did you notice that there was one more piece of paper in this envelope?
No.
There was one more piece of paper in here. It's got some writing on it. Can you read that out?
In position 1 will be the person with the green name.
Turn yours round.
That's correct.
Read the next. Followed by
Rod in position.
red.
Red in position 2 is because it's Rod.
Oh, because it's right. It's a red rod. And then lastly, the blue name will be in position 3. Turn yours round. You stood in any order you wanted. You took any pen that you liked.
Very good.
You changed your order
Very good.
again.
Awesome.
I was wondering how you got my name there. I was thinking that's good.
Ah, no, is it? So this routine, I am so excited. You shouldn't have favourites, but I do, and this is one of them. So Mark Paul, who is just a phenomenal mentalist and thinker and creator and performer, gifted me this routine very kindly. He actually has a brilliant project on the 1914. I think it's called the Anywhere Act, which is such a brilliant watch. And this routine that you've just watched the performance of is on there. He does a version of this in his stage act. And when I showed him Tricolour, the first thing he said was, that would work perfectly with my 3-person chair test. And so that is what we came up with, a version of his trick, but using Tricolour. For those of you that don't know, a chair test is basically a seemingly improbable prediction where the audience are invited to stand in positions or sit in chairs and switch and do all sorts of things, depending on which routine you're doing. And in some act of wonder, the magician or performer has predicted exactly where everyone would end up, which is essentially what this is, but with 3 people, and you don't need chairs, and you can do it anywhere. So let's get into it. You need your 3 pens in your standard setup, pen 1 being red, 2 blue, 3 green, exactly as we've been set up all the way through, and just 1 of your double-sided envelopes. This is going to have a prediction in each side, because we'll get to it in a second, but there are only 2 outs for this trick. Even though it feels a lot more complicated and like there could be a lot more possibilities, there are only 2 outs for this trick. And on side 1, you're going to put 3 blank pieces of card. Now, if you're doing this in a different situation, you could have name labels, which I think is a really lovely idea. And I just think impromptu, though, if you're just kind of doing this on the fly to people, bits of card are slightly better because they can just hold them and they don't need to stick stuff to their clothes. But if you're doing this in more of a parlour setting, or, you know, in your, you know, for family or for whoever you might be doing it for, you can get a few name labels. They could write them on and stick them on their chest. It makes it a little bit more fun. So here's what's going to happen. You are going to get 3 people to come and stand in a line. Every point of this, make it feel like the choices are free. They can go wherever they want. And the joy is of this first section where you ask them to stand in a line. Tell them, stand anywhere. Mix yourselves up, but end up in a line somewhere. So you're going to open up your envelope and you're going to take out 3 blank cards, leaving 1 in there, which I always just hold for a little second longer just so that they can see that there is another prediction in there. You're going to close that and leave that wherever you want to, on a table, whatever you want to do. So, for the purposes of explaining this to you, position 1, position 2, position 3. So these 3 people are mixing themselves up, doing whatever they want to do. It doesn't matter. And they end up here. So, in 1, 2, 3, in a line in front of you. You're going to show them the pens and show them, ask them, you know, standard thing. What colour are they? Black? No, actually, this one's red, blue, green. Put the lids back on. Give them to person, depending on which way you're performing to them, give them to the person 3 position to mix up. Okay, I'm doing this reversed for you, but normally it's a stretch over here for me. So give them to this person to mix the pens up. And don't really draw much attention to why they're mixing them up. Don't tell them what you're going to do yet, because the joy is you're going to do some dirty work in a second. And if we haven't told them what the game is yet, if we haven't explained what the rules are yet, there's no reason to be suspicious of it. So they're going to mix these up. As they come back to you, you need to get these pens into 1, 2, 3 order, because you are just going to give position 1, pen 1, red, position 2, pen 2, blue, position 3, pen 3, green. So as you take them back, you're just going to roll them. Now I can see these are in 1, 3, 2. And all I was doing there was just rolling them in my hand like that. So as they get mixed up, they're going to come back to me. I'm going to roll. I've seen straight away, I've seen that this one's blue. And then I've kept rolling. I've seen that's red on the end. So I don't even really need to look in the middle. I know now they're in 1, 3, 2. So this is just going to take a little bit of just do it a few times. You get these pens back and you're going to say, right, let's just give them out. And I would do this. 2 is on the end here. So I just say, I'd grab them back. Yeah, take a pen. And then I would take them here. I'd just split them, take a pen, take a pen. Now they're in 1, 2, 3. So this is red, this is blue, this is green. So they get shuffled, shuffled, shuffled by whoever comes to them. Whoever is shuffling them, whoever comes to them, by whoever comes to them and shuffles them. So they're going to get shuffled, shuffled, shuffled. You're going to take them back in your hand, spread them flat. I can already see 2's on the end, 1. So I've got 2, 3, 1 is what I've got here. 2, 3, 1. So I would, in this point, this is person 1, 2, 3. So they're in 2, 3, 1. I'm going to say, great. Take a pen, take a pen, take a pen. It will just come out naturally. Grab them, take, take, take. So now, 1, 2, 3, red, blue, green. Because you've put them in this specified order, there are only 2, with what we're about to ask them to do, there are only 2 outcomes that can happen now. So you're going to say to them, write your name in big letters. Don't let us see what color you're writing with. And then once you've done that, make sure it's dry, hold it to your chest. So person 1 writes their name. They'll have the red pen. So they'll write their name big here. Can we see that on the camera, Jack?
Yep.
Great. So person 2, you've given them the blue pen. They're going to write their name big. So we'll write D. And person 3 is going to write their name nice and big. I have terrible handwriting. If Releasing Magic has taught me anything, it's that calligraphy is not my strong point. So 1, 2, 3. This will always be the order. So at this point, they've mixed themselves up, stood in any random order, mix up the pens, write your name, don't let anyone see what colour you've written it in. In fact, let's make this even more random. Mix yourselves up again. Stand in a position that you're not originally standing in. Everyone be in a different position. That's the important bit. Because if someone stays in the position, it doesn't work. So everyone just mix yourselves up, stand somewhere that you weren't originally standing. Stand in a new position. All we're worried about is this person, is the green person. So there are only 2 combinations that this can be. So if person 3 decides to go up here, this person can't stay here because that would mean they're staying in the same position. So we've got to do that. So it would be green, then red, then blue. That's the only outcome that can be. Alternatively, if person 3 decides to go in the middle, D can't go here, D can't go here, because that would leave Simon in the same position. So D's got to go here, and Simon's got to go here. That would put you in blue, then green, then red. That's the only 2 combinations it can be. So let's go with combination number 1, which would be this, because if person 3 goes to the end, person 1 has to go here, person 2 has to go here. All you're going to do is look where the green person is. They're going to be either in position 1 or position 2. That corresponds to your envelope side. Side 1, side 2. If they're in position 1, you're opening side 1. In this case, they're in position 1. Open this up, take this out. You've got the reveal that in position 1 will be the person with the green name, followed by the red in position 2, and lastly, the blue name will be in position 3. That's side 1. So green, red, blue. If they're in combo 2, which would be, we start here, which would be this person here, and they would have to do that. It would be blue, green, red. So green is in position 2. You're going to pick up, you're going to flip it over, you're going to open this up, take out that prediction, which will say blue will be in position 1, with green in position 2, and lastly red in position 3. That's it. It couldn't be it couldn't be simpler. It's just brilliant thinking by Mark. You can make the predictions as detailed as you want. I've just done those quickly so we have something to look at. But you can say, regardless of the three choices, after mixing yourselves up, you can recap on everything. In position 1, the person will inevitably write their name in blue. Following that, in position 2, regardless of where they changed from and what pen they picked, they will end up writing their name in green. And lastly, in position 3, you make it as flowery as you like. But that's it, a 3-person impromptu chair test. If you did this with labels, they're right there, they're stuck on. Okay, now change yourselves again. They're all mixing. It's such a brilliant, brilliant piece. It's joyous. I can't wait to see you perform it. I hope that all makes sense. I think, have I covered everything? Then great. That is a 3-person, great. That is a 3-person chair test using Tricolours. So let's take a little second to talk about these envelopes. D. Christopher, here at the 1914, spent a long time working on these, and I just think they are excellent. A huge perk. We wanted to make them black for a couple of reasons. 1, they don't get dirty. 2, I think that when you're using a double-sided envelope, that kind of, the fact that they're black means that when you flash that other side, that sort of vague black art principle comes into play a little bit. It just means that with this open, in flashing the other side, I think you just see less kind of in your profiteroles. And the perk of these are, they're made from one piece of Tyvek. It is one solid piece of Tyvek that folds up. So if for any reason, however many years down the line, they do unstick or come apart, it's a single piece, so all you need to do is just stick a little bit of glue on there and refold it and stick it back together, and it's good as new because Tyvek is not going anywhere. So this is where we came to. I am very aware that I taught you for the majority of this on brown envelopes and just said, just put a little pencil down, a little marking that I made very obvious for you. But on here, a black dot, although these are black dot marked for me and I can see them, I don't want you to, so this is my number 1 envelope, I can see that pretty clearly. If that doesn't work for you, I just want to give you a couple of options that you can work with to make these marking systems easier for you. Again, if they're in the right pocket, you're fine, and it's just which way up is side 1 and side 2. So first option is just use a silver Sharpie or a silver marker or a white pencil or something like that. Will work the same. Obviously, keep it small, keep it in, sort of minimalist as possible. But just do exactly the same marking. So for envelope 1, 1 dot, envelope 2, 2 dots, envelope 3, 3 dots, and then you have your side as well. Just makes it easier when you're packing away and taking them in and out of bags and things. You know where everything's going. If you don't want to put dots on them, then the other option is to essentially corner short these edges of the envelope here. It's very simple to do. All you need to do is grab a pair of scissors, and here's how I would suggest marking them, but it's totally up to you if you want to do this different. Let's assume, well, this is envelope number 1. This one here we've got marked as envelope number 2, and this is envelope number 3. So I would take one corner off of 1, take 2 corners off of 2, and take no corners off of 3. And in doing that, if I grab these scissors here, you'll see that, let me open this up for the camera to see. that it has this curved edge here. We simply straight snip a little bit off there and put that back in. I can now see that, and this might be hard for you to see, that doesn't have a corner now. That has a sort of rounded edge to it just here. Probably take just a bit more. That has no corner now. This one has a corner, this is rounded. No one is ever going to see it when it's in like this, but you looking at it will go, oh, that's got an edge missing, because it doesn't go all the way to the edge here. It's away from the edge. This goes all the way flat to the edge, this doesn't. So we know that this is 1. To mark number 2, take off this, and take off this, pop that in. There's 2 edges missing now here. I now know that that is envelope number 2, and envelope 3 we leave alone. So now in taking them out, I can very clearly see, oh, that's not going to the edge. That's got 1, that's that side up. So we never touch the other side. That's the big thing. The other sides of them we leave alone, okay? So that is side 1. That is envelope 1 with the hero side, with side 1. That is envelope 2, and that is the hero side of number 2, because we haven't touched the other side. Envelope 3 we haven't touched at all, stays the same. Now to mark this one as which direction up it should be, I would then use a little pencil dot. I think that it's fine. Just a little, tiny little dot. No one's ever going to notice it on there at all. But that is a way that you can mark your envelopes. I still really recommend the dot over cutting them would be my preference every single day of the week. A tiny little silver dot or a black dot will work all day for you. But if you want to cut them, go ahead. So this is just to show you, I'll stick a bit of white card because it'll be easier than seeing black on black. You can see that this envelope goes all the way to the edge here, but on this side, it doesn't meet the edge. So that would, and it's only on one side. So that would be envelope number 1, and the hero side is the side with the edge missing. Because that side, as we can see, sits perfectly fine and normal. That side sits flat with its edges, so that's side 2, but we know envelope number 1 has one side missing, and that is the hero side. For envelope number 2, again, 2 sides are missing now. These don't meet the edges. So that means it's envelope number 2, and that is the hero side. Again, other side untouched. We don't need to worry about that because that's side 2, but side 1, 2 edges missing. Envelope number 2. Envelope number 3 does meet the sides, absolutely untouched on both sides. All I've done here is I put a tiny little nick. I've made it much bigger than it needs to be so you can see it, but tiny little nick there to know which side is the hero side.
You've seen enough of double-sided envelopes and me telling you how to look at the markings on the pens. So I just wanted to tell you a couple of ideas because I just think it's super useful for you to have everything that's in my head and then take it from there. So I wanted to tell you about a routine that I've used in walk-around table hopping, which is just super fun because it's kind of repeatable, constantly repeatable. So it's as simple as getting someone to write down their name or a forced object or something, but you are going to offer them a pen to write with, not look at it, get your peek, and then your red, your blue, and your green envelopes are basically set up for, today I will meet a man who will write their name in red, and on the other side of that envelope, today I will meet a woman who will write their name in red. And you have, so man and woman on the red side, man and woman on blue envelope, man and woman green envelope. And it just means that you can go around and get them to do whatever, write their name down, and you will have predicted that that will happen. So
You can take that further rather than it just being their name. If you know that you're going to see specific people that day, you can write the predictions for that specific person. If you maybe want to use a force word in there as well, so you're going to force something off of DFB, or you're going to force a playing card, or you're going to force whatever. Today I will meet a man who will pick the Queen of Hearts and write their name in blah, blah, blah. So it's just a very fun thing that you can change the presentation of regularly, but always just set for man and woman, so it doesn't matter who you're meeting or who you want to perform. Who do we want to use? This person. Okay, great. It could have been any of you, but it's you. So it just means that you can, it feels specific even though it's very generic. But you've just got constant hits and you're just adding cards, adding new fresh blank cards into whatever side you want to as you go along. So that's one idea. Another idea would be to use the pens in conjunction with an ESP routine. So I just really like the idea of forcing an ESP symbol and then getting them to write that down in whatever color. So now you've kind of got a kind of color reading on a ESP symbol. I just think it makes that kind of more interesting. You could force two symbols, as long as, say, you force the star in the circle, you know that the star is your hero one. That's the first one. That's the first pen we're looking for, like with the other routines. So they've picked the red pen. You know that star's going to be the first thing in your red envelope. And then just have it as the double-sided for the circle, if that's the other symbol that you're forcing, that then changes between, you know, blue and green, or red and blue, or whatever it is in the combinations. So basically what I'm trying to say is that there are many ideas that you can come up with to use Tricolour for, and I guarantee that there are people out there watching this who are far smarter and more creative than I am. So I cannot wait to see what you come up with. Show me, film it, send it to me, post it, do whatever you want to do, but get creative. I really hope you enjoy using them as much as I do. Thank you very much. And I'm not talking to anyone else now. I'm just talking to you specifically, not the other people watching. It's just you and me alone in a room. I'm going to get cancelled. Cut.